everybody, it's 3 p.m. and it's time for dinner with Nanny Bubby. So happy to see all of you here. All of you are going to find your way here. We're going to have a great time talking about chicken today, talking about what we all did over the weekend. I had a wonderful time over the weekend. But before I tell you about that, let me tell you exactly what it is that we're making today. We're making Spatchcock Chicken. That's a mouthful. Oh, by the way, hey, Sue Rainish, good to see you. And Roseanne, aloha. Roseanne is joining us from Hawaii. Hello, Roseanne, so nice to see you. And Randy Marvin is here. Oh boy, everybody is finding us very quickly today. So the Spatchcock chicken that we're making, we actually made before, but we made it as chicken thighs. And it is the chicken with ginger, miso, scallions, and a bunch of all kinds of other things. Hello, Joy Gallo. Nice to see you. Everybody is finding us. Everybody is ready by Monday to tune in and to get started. So let me just tell you, yesterday I had the kids over for dinner, was very excited about it. I made a big dinner for everybody to come. Everything was going beautiful. We're out on the brand new patio, enjoying, having a wonderful time. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, our grandson just started projectile vomiting all over the place. All over the whole new patio, and mostly all over my poor daughter. Anyway, we all jumped up. My husband and son came running in the house like, oh my God, help. Like you would think that, you know, Godzilla had ended up at the patio. And my son-in-law and I just started, you know, spraying everything down. We would have sprayed down my daughter, but poor thing was standing there. And the baby just never got better. He just was struggling. It was just so sad. We felt so bad. We lost our appetite a little bit, but you know, this is life. My son-in-law turned to me and looked and said, and this just happened. And I said, yeah. And this just happened. So goes family life, right? All the best laid plans. So it was quite the afternoon, needless to say. But our stomachs have all recovered and our grandson got over it without any problem. For those of you who are mothers and fathers, you well know what happens in family life when all of these things happen. So there you have it, everybody. That was how my Sunday went. But the meal was great. And let's push forward and talk about today's meal for sure. Hey, excuse me, Lene Hoge. So happy you're here. I know you're intermittent. I know how busy you are, so I always love it when I see your name pop up and we're together. So instead of making this chicken in chicken thighs, I decided what I wanted to do was make it in a spatchcock type of chicken. So I will tell you the one thing that I am more afraid of than COVID virus, than the coronavirus, is actually raw poultry. So I'm wearing gloves because as soon as this thing is cut and seasoned and turned over, I'm then going to take these gloves and throw them away because I think that poultry and poultry juices can be very, very dangerous. So I'm always very, very careful in what I do. I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to cut this back out of the chicken in this colander so as it not to touch anything else until that's done. So these are my poultry scissors right here. Hello, Tom Meyer. Look, oh, can you see Biggie? Hey, Biggie. Can you see Biggie? Was he sitting up? Biggie, can you say hello? Let me show you. Biggie. I think he was, were you, look at him. Is that the cutest thing? He sees me cooking. You're a star, Biggie. Look at me, sweetheart. There you go. Is that the cutest thing? I feed him incessantly whenever he does that. All you have to do is be a circus animal and I'll feed you the whole way. Thanks for pointing that out, Tom. So anyway, we are gonna cut into the chicken and we are just basically with our poultry shears, cutting out the back of the chicken, just like this. So we're gonna just cut, cut, cut. Can you see that good? Hey Lisa, how are you? How cute is that? I know, everybody loves Biggie, especially when he does that, right? And for a cancer patient, he's doing beautifully, and that makes me so happy. Okay, just want to make sure you've got a great view of this. Let me turn this just a little bit more. Let me get this out of the way. Sorry, I've got an obstruction here. I'm trying to be careful not to touch anything. Okay, so let's cut this back right out of the chicken. Now, I want you to know that I've been freezing these backs So I'm gonna leave it in the colander. And I had about 5 backs from when I was making spatchcock over the last few months. And I made an absolute fabulous chicken bone broth out of it, and it was sensational. So when you cut these backs out, do not throw them into the garbage. Just throw them in a Ziploc bag and stick them in the freezer. Keep adding the backs to them, and you too will have a fabulous bone broth. So, okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to season the back side of this. Let me cut one more cut. So the best thing that you can do so that this will lay flat is just cut into that breastbone as well. That way, there you go. You can just feel it. And that way, when you set it onto the sheet pan, it's going to lay really nice and flat. There we go. Okay, so into the side with that. Let me just blot that down a little bit. And what we're gonna do, and I wanna just say, I got this chicken at Trader Joe's on Saturday. And I rarely buy chickens there, but they had a whole organic chicken. And I'd never tried their organic chicken. Now, I will just tell you that the one that I get, the one I'm reading Lisa's comment there, so that's why I paused. I didn't think that was such a big deal, but thank you for that, I guess. But the chickens that I like the best actually are Whole Foods 365. And what I like about them is that in the packaging, they're very, very dry. There's not a lot of juices, and it is rare to find the, I want to say the innards, the gizzard and the heart and the liver. What is that called? Do you know what that's called? No, Megan, my intern, is here, who's just fabulous. You guys type that in the chat. Hey, Jordan, how are you? How are things up in Idaho? Nice to see you. The giblets, that's what I think it's called, the giblets, rarely are in the chicken. And when you find that giblets are in a chicken and then it's sealed, it actually makes it way too moist, and you open it up and the juices fly everywhere. And I don't like that. So I love the 365 brand of organic chicken from Whole Foods, but here's the thing. This chicken from Trader Joe's, I'm here to tell you, was just as dry. You know, there were no giblets on the inside in a sack sitting in there, you know, draining blood everywhere, just to say a few things. And I really like that, so I would highly recommend this brand as well. And you know how it is. Nobody pays me to recommend anything. So when that happens, I will let you know. But just for now, there's a Trader Joe's, usually wherever you live, and a Whole Foods. So either one of those are great. So here's the chicken. We've butterflied it, and on to the sheet pan it goes. There we go. Thank you. And we're going to tilt it down, and we're just going to move it back a little bit so that you can see over to here. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to bury this back right into the pan here, put it into the sink under here, and I'm going to take these and I am going to put them into the garbage can. Now I just want to show you, I got this fabulous, this is my sister's find. My sister is my personal shopper when it comes to Home Shopping Network or QVC. This is really actually a compost bucket. And what's really great about that, if you hear that noise in the background, that's my husband blowing his nose. You'd think that the last ship just came in and it was a foghorn, but it's just Tom blowing his nose. You can hear it all the way in Boulder City. The walls of the house were just shaking. We got our composure. It wasn't an earthquake. It was just Tom blowing his nose. So anyway, we're all back together now. Okay, so here's the compost bucket. What's really great about this is that it compresses. Yeah, I did get it, Heather. Hey, Randy Marvin. So there we go. It's fantastic. A plastic produce bag fits in there beautifully. Let me open it. There we go. There we go. And this little piece right here comes off. I got this at QVC. Whoops. Oh my gosh. Okay. QVC. This little piece right here comes off, so you can put the bag on in it, and then this locks it into place so it won't slide in. This, however, which is a great, it comes in 2 sizes depending on your cupboard size, if you can see that. So that snaps on. There's 2 sizes of these, and if I had some sort of cupboard right down here, I would be able to slip that in, and then what I cut would just go right in it. But for me, This didn't fit on any of my cupboards, and my dishwasher is right underneath here. But it's called Henning Lee, and it comes from QVC, and it is fantastic. So this is my new compost bucket. As you know, I used to use a vase and put the plastic bag in the vase, but I really love this. And yes, Heather, I absolutely adored it. So let's start first by using some salt and pepper onto the chicken, as we did on the inside. And there we go. Just a little bit of kosher salt always, as you know. Kosher salt really does not make it salty. It just helps extract all the flavors. And remember, the higher up your spoon is, as you're shaking it on, the more control you have, which, as I always say, is counterintuitive. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna move this over, and then just so that you can see, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with the ginger. So we're gonna shave the ginger, but first we are going to peel it. And that's why I'm really glad I have this little compost. And when doing this, I actually find that you have more control when you do it, not away from you, but towards you. So that's what I'm doing. I love the smell of fresh ginger, and it really adds a nice spice. So we're gonna grate this finely on a rasp, I think it's called. And we're gonna get as much of the skin off as possible. There we go, last bit of skin over here. And there's more ginger, but let's see how much we get. We should have about 2 tablespoons. Then I've asked myself whether or not I should go into the cupboard and get some dried ground ginger in the spice cabinet and pull that out if I don't have enough fresh. So I don't know, tell me what you think about that. Do you think I should run in there and do that? Hey there, Jennifer Tuttle, you said I can see you, but sound is gone, technical difficulties. I'm sure I can see the menu. Well, can everybody else hear me? Just can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Because it might be the AirPods. And if it's the AirPods, I will take them off and bury them. But can everybody else, Thomas Meyer said no. Nobody can hear me? Is that right? Can anybody hear me? Anybody? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, something. Thomas Meyer said no. So I guess it's the AirPods. Oh, Lisa said she can hear me. Okay. Thomas Meyer can hear me. Okay, Jennifer, I think it's you. Okay. And I wish I could help you, but I can't. So my sister, right now while I'm live on the air, is actually still sending me QVC suggestions. Okay, and Roseanne says she can hear me in Kauai, so that's the best news ever. Okay, one of the most beautiful places on earth I can be heard, which makes me delightful. Okay, I almost put this into the compost basket. Thank you so much. So as I do this, I'm trying to decide what I should make. Let's see. We can hear you, but no to dried ginger. Okay, Tom, you got it, buddy. Okay. So let me ask you this. What is on your menu for Mother's Day? I want to do something fairly easy and fairly simple. I think I want a barbecue, but everybody's going to be coming over. And I'm sure that my daughter and I will do a few things together. Not much. She doesn't really like to cook all that much, so I don't mind doing it because she's a mom and it's Mother's Day too. But I was thinking about just doing hamburgers and hot dogs, but then I thought, you know, there's a fabulous beef tenderloin, believe it or not, that they sell at Costco, and it's in the prime section, and I just love that beef tenderloin. And I was thinking about putting that on the grill. It is a menu that I use soy sauce, dried ginger, actually just for the flavors, and salt and pepper. There's one other spice in there. I don't remember what it is right now. But as long as you freeze that. Oh, Tom Meyer says salmon. Okay, there's a thought. What else goes with that, though? Regardless of whether I make salmon or whether I make beef tenderloin, what do the beef, Heather says. Okay, Heather's coming, I suppose. For a minute there, I thought she wasn't, so there you go. Hello, Arlene. How are you? What's your favorite Mother's Day meal? So what would you make, whether you're making salmon or beef? What would you put with it? What is fun and easy and delicious? What would be good? Heather, stop texting me right now. I'm live on the air, okay? She's texting me QVC suggestions. Asparagus, okay. I made a great asparagus last night for appetizer with the marinated feta, and that was fantastic. So I could make, and let me tell you, Brenda gave me a suggestion for the asparagus, which is if you steam your asparagus before you roast it, it doesn't dehydrate and get shriveled up when you roast it. And I really have to say, I think that actually did make a difference because I did steam the asparagus first and then I roasted it at 375. So, okay, I like the idea of asparagus. What else? Pasta of some kind. Look at all that. Look at all that ginger, all that fresh ginger coming out. Are you able to see me doing this? Arlene is thinking, okay, what else is easy? Loving to take suggestion from all my gatherers. I guess I could make cabbage, right? I could make cabbage rolls, right, Arlene? Because we learned a lot about cabbage rolls last Monday, a week ago. Okay, let me get as much of this out of here as I can. Let's see, Lisa said salad of spinach, toasted pecans, blueberries, feta, mandarin oranges, and oil and balsamic. That sounds absolutely delish. Sounds fantastic. Okay, let me see. All right, I'm almost done with this ginger. Any other suggestions? Should I make a roasted vegetable pasta? Sounds good. Arlene is cracking up over the cabbage rolls. I don't blame her. Okay, let's see if we can get all this out of here. There we go. There's a lot in this rasp. So I think we hit our ginger quota, and I would not need to use dried ginger. So I won't anyway because Tom told me not to. Okay, so there we go. Love when all of you join me. All right, so what else goes in here is we are going to chop up. So I went out into the garden. This recipe normally calls for scallions, but I did not have any scallions. I do have scallions growing in my garden, but I decided that these beautiful chives, if I didn't cut them, look at how beautiful and look at how wide they are. These are third or fourth season scallions out there, and I'll tell you, they came in this spring just absolutely gargantuous. So we're going to take a big bunch of these scallions. Let me tip this down. Yes, I'm going to keep it simple and make the tenderloin the star of the show. I think that's a great idea. However, I have to have a different star for Harmony because she doesn't eat meat. But I think that's a great idea, and I think I might just run over to Costco. When I was telling you the trick about the tenderloin, you need to freeze it with the marinade on it, and I'm not sure why, but freezing it with the marinade on it makes it absolutely fantastic. As a matter of fact, Lisa, since Lisa is joining us, I told a story a few months back about actually freezing tenderloin. And I did that for Lisa's 40th birthday, and I actually carried a frozen beef tenderloin all the way from Las Vegas to St. Louis for Lisa's 40th birthday to surprise her. She had no idea what we were doing. She just knew we were all coming. And so that's what we did. And I'll tell you what was so great, because this was pre-9/11 for her 40th birthday. And what is hilarious is that I got on the airplane with a frozen tenderloin in my carry-on. And when I left for the airport, I took it out of the freezer and then put it in my carry-on. And by the time I got to St. Louis, it had started defrosting. We put it in the refrigerator, and it was perfect the next day. Okay, so there's the scallions. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to mince the garlic. And the garlic, I'm going to get a bigger rasp because it actually takes too long. So I am going to grate this garlic, which actually goes much faster. The bigger that the rasp is, the grater. So this is better. Can you guys see that? Yeah, this is going down much faster. And so, and in the interest of all of your time, I wanted to do that. Okay, that is beautiful. Get that all off, and we grab another garlic. Okay, here we go. Now this also calls for a couple teaspoons of brown sugar, but I don't like to use sugar when I cook, and so I was going to use a little bit of maple syrup. But I didn't like the idea of that. And so in the very last second, I was reminded that I had fresh pineapple in the refrigerator that I used in the menu last night for the chicken sausages. And so what I am going to do, look at that garlic. That's absolutely gorgeous. Can you see all that? Just really, just beautiful. Just really got in there really, really nice. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this fresh pineapple juice that came in this handy dandy little canister, and I am just going to pour out into here about 3 teaspoons of the pineapple juice. And I think that that natural sweetness from the real juice of real fruit is a much better way to go than sugar or brown sugar or even maple syrup, even though I love to cook with maple syrup. It's my favorite thing to cook with. Okay, and now we're gonna get the miso paste. So let me see what I did with that. Let me grab a teaspoon over here. I'll be right back. I hope you can still hear me, and a whisk. There we go. And into here we go with about a teaspoon of the miso paste. There we go. A little bit more. Okay. And we're going to put in about, let's see, where's the oil? Oil, I don't see it. Oh, 1/2 cup of oil. So there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's how I'm measuring it today. There's that. We're going to give this a whisk. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to spread this as a paste on top of the chicken. So I'm looking through this just for a second because you know how strongly I feel about always using a recipe, and I did almost forget the most important thing, which is the Dijon mustard. So about 3 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and that actually will thicken it and make a paste out of it. Here we go. You see that? This is looking absolutely beautiful. So let me just grab a spatula. Normally I would use my fingers. In fact, I am going to use my fingers, but I am going to put on some gloves to do it because I have decided that I am more concerned about raw poultry than I am about coronavirus. So I'm gonna make sure that I am well protected and that my family and my kitchen are well protected. So here we go. Let's get these gloves on. You'd think I'm actually doing real surgery here, which I guess I am. I'm doing chicken surgery here. Okay, everything out of the way. And I'm gonna take the rest of this ginger and just see if I can't grate it a little bit better over here on this bigger grater. I think this is better than the small rasp. Small rasp is good like for the skin of, when you're zesting something, I think it's perfect, but I think it's just a little too fine for something like ginger or garlic. But I really wanna get as much of this ginger in here as I can because this flavor, and I'll tell you, when my husband bit into this, the very first time that I made it, it was miso and garlic and ginger combined was a flavor that I had never cooked with before, just like I had never cooked with cumin on a couple of the other Yotam Ottolenghi recipes that I had made. And I think that when you, like when I was growing up and when I got married for the first 30 years, actually for the first 35 years, I think I used garlic, salt, and pepper on just about everything I made. So still to this day, when he tastes a flavor, which you all may have cooked with for many, many years, but I'm just cooking with it really for the first time now, he is just like, oh my God, this is so good. So tell me, what is your favorite like new flavor as of late? A new flavor that you have not recently ever before used. So for me, it's definitely ginger, it's definitely miso, and it's definitely cumin. These are things that I am not used to cooking with that I have fallen in love with as of late. So, okay, there we go. So let's move this chicken over here and let's just start making a paste. Here we go. So there is a silicone liner under here. And as you know, I appreciate the silicone liner because it protects from the aluminum, and I don't like cooking on aluminum. The problem with the silicone liner is that it picks up, it's great when it's brand new, but once you wash it, it picks up the flavor and it absorbs the soap. And I have like roasted asparagus on the silicone liner and I get like a mouthful of dish soap, or at least the taste. So now I line with the silicone liner and then I line with the parchment paper on top of that, and then everything tastes good and fine. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and lay this down over here. And I'm just gonna really just paint this on. Now I'm not gonna put it on, and you can see just how nice and flat this is laying. I'm not going to put it on the inside because there's just no need. I went ahead and this looks amazing, actually. Can I just tell you, I did salt and pepper, if you remember, the outside of it. Lisa said that the cumin is one of her new favorite flavors. Anybody else? Okay, all right, here we go. Look at how fabulous that is. Okay. Now I've got just a little bit left over and I'm gonna keep it in here so that as we cook this, if the flavors start to caramelize just a little bit and it looks like it's getting just a little bit dried, I'm gonna just add just a little bit more. So, okay, let me just give these hands a rinse. Get that off of it. Dry it. Because what I'm gonna do now, let me just push this a little bit, I think off to here. And I have a combination of, let's see, who spatchcocked the chicken? I did. You missed that, but if you go back, Arlene, and look at the beginning of this episode today, I actually did it myself with these fabulous poultry shears. Tanya Murray told me about these poultry shears. You can get them on Amazon. They're fantastic. I think if you go to my nannybubby.com game changer page, I think the poultry shears are actually there, so with a link straight to Amazon. I put them there. Hey, Teresa Anderson. I put them there just to make it easy for all of you to find these things, because you always ask me about stuff, and if I say I get it on Amazon, you're like, well, exactly which one did you buy? And this way, when it's there, you're able to buy it. So what I'm doing now, if you can see, let me just push this way. There we go. Let me push this up just slightly. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm going to roast this with a combination of the broccoli and cauliflower, roasted on the pan, so that the flavors get into all of this, which is awesome. And I've got some golden peppers that have been sliced up that I think and feel that if I don't use them very, very soon, it's gonna be too late to use them at all. So when those vegetables get just a little bit, you know, you can say, oh, I don't think I feel like eating it raw. It just doesn't look all that great, but it's still good. Then roasting it is like the best next thing to do with those vegetables so that you don't throw them down the drain. So there we go. Okay, so I spatchcocked the chicken, and I kind of love doing it, I have to tell you. But, oh, good for me, yes. Go back, Arlene. And do you know how to do that? Like after we're off the air, and just go back to the beginning of the episode and you'll be able to see me do that. Actually, I'm getting kind of good at it. And also, I think a lot has to do with the fact that the chicken was nice and dried out. I used the gloves because the poultry shears start to slip out of your hand. And so, and also I don't want to, you know, use the raw chicken. And so, that's the really great news about that, is that not only are you wearing the gloves for protection, but when you are using the poultry shears, they have slipped literally right out of my hand, and I can't get a good grip to cut, you know, to cut down really hard on the chicken and cut through the bones. So the gloves give you a really, really good grip, like using a tool. So let's see. Oh, Eva Calic is here. Eva, we haven't seen you in a while. Nice to see you joining us here. Let's see. Somebody said something. Let me roll this down a minute. Nope. Okay. I think I got everybody. There we go. Okay. Anybody have any last suggestions for something for Mother's Day? Okay. So here's the peppers I told you about. We slice them up for eating during the week. There is always a towel in there to keep them from getting too moist. I'm just going to take a few of these for color. Look how beautiful those are. Yeah, I think these are still good for eating. Just kind of taking a bite. Okay, and I'm just going to rough chop these up, and then I'm going to pour some olive oil, salt, and pepper, and into the oven for 375 degrees for about an hour and 15 minutes. And we are going to have a spatchcock chicken. I'll take a last picture right as I pop it into our oven to show all of you. Here we go. Just get this. Okay. So I don't know if my mom is on. Arlene says, I like reservations for Mother's Day. I know, but we are just way too many, Arlene. We're 7, and then my mother, my sister, my mother-in-law, and my sister's children, and it's just too much. It's just too much reservations. So lucky for us, everybody is still here, and so it's great to gather in our home. There we go. So just take a look at how beautiful that is. Let's take a look at that. Whoop. There we go. Look at that. Doesn't that look gorgeous? So colorful, so beautiful. The Dijon Mustard vinaigrette with the miso and the ginger. Let me add a little bit of oil and salt and pepper to the vegetables. I mean, who wouldn't want to come home to dinner with this? Oh my God, it's absolutely gorgeous. Here we go. Just a little drizzle of olive oil, some salt and pepper. Can you see this? Yep, you can. Just a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm not going to worry about tossing this right now, because as you go in, once it starts cooking, you go in with a spatula and toss it around a little bit, and all the flavors melt together. Here we go with the salt onto the vegetables. Here we go. There we go. How's that? A dinner fit for a king. What do you guys think? Thumbs up? I think that looks beautiful. And look at the marinade on that. How do you like that? And again, I reserved a little bit of the marinade outside so that I can wipe it on as it starts cooking. There we go. Maybe just toss the vegetables in it, maybe even when they come out of the oven. So there you go. Spatchcock sheet pan chicken with broccoli and cauliflower. Peppers, just the peppers make the colors look so gorgeous. So that's it, everybody. I'm so glad that you joined me today. I missed all of you. We had a great time for the Kentucky Derby. The Channel 8 episode was so much fun. Tanya Marie loaned me her pink, huge, amazing hat. I wore that. We made Kentucky Derby pie, and it was just amazing. So I hope you got a chance to see that. Remember, download your 19 Essential Herbs and Spices. Free download, nannybubby.com/spices. You can find everything on the, that we make here, usually on the Game Changer page on nannybubby.com/gamechangers. So that's it, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Love you dearly. And on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Go out and spread love like butter. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, everybody. Bye.